everybody, this is Cassie with Get Your Face On. I'm showing you today my favorite 2017 makeup look that I did most weeks, at least, 3 or 4 times. It's just something that's very easy for me to do, and that's a smoked out cat eye. But since it's New Year's Eve, I wanted to add some sparkles, so that's what we're doing today. Hope you enjoy. Thanks. I want to do the eyes first because I have a feeling I will want to use glitter even though I'm doing a cat eye look. So I'd like to do that first in case anything falls down onto my cheeks. It's easy to clean up with foundation. Oftentimes you'll hear people say that they do their eyes first. I do that as well. It's just easier. You can rest your hands on your face while you do your eyes and not worry about messing anything up. So I like doing that. For eye primer, which is something I do even though I have dry skin, my eyelids are oily, and that's the case for most people. So I'm going to be using the Photofocus eyeshadow primer by Wet n Wild. Whoops. It costs about $2, so it's very inexpensive, and in my experience works just as well as an Urban Decay eyeshadow priming potion or any other high-end brand. And my eyeshadow primer is not really something I'm willing to splurge on because I don't see the benefits as far as like coloration or pigment or how pretty it is. It's just an eyeshadow primer and it's supposed to keep your shadow on longer, so I don't really care if it's expensive or not as long as it works and keeps things from creasing. So I'll pat that in. That one has no color, which is fine with me. And now we'll move on to shadow. I'm going to be using first the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette, which has a selection of all matte shades. You can see here some really pretty colors, also a lot of cool tones, which are my favorites. I'm going to start with a bigger brush. These brushes right here that I have that all have snakes on them, these are from Sonia Kashuk, which is a Target exclusive, so fairly inexpensive as far as brushes go. And I'm going to take the shade Pregame down here and just put this across my whole eyelid. And I look tired. We're going to fix that. And I'm going to take a couple colors and mix them for the crease. So that's going to be Nude and Commando. So these two right next to each other. Obviously there's a theme in this palette, which is no clothing. And this is just going to go into the crease. So you can see that color start to build a little bit. Now that that first layer of shadow is done and we have built in a crease a little bit, I'm going to take a more precise brush and we're going to take the color Lockout, which is right here, and mix it with a little bit of Tempted, which is right above it. So you'll see the pigment on the brush now. Just tap it off. And we're going to go on the outer crease. Moving on to the second eye. Okay, second eye is done. I want to do a little bit of the liner now. We're going to be using the Blackest Black L'Oreal Lacquer. Ooh, the sun is getting crazy. And it's a gel eyeliner. Now, this is the tricky part, the eyeliner. I'm going to do this eye so you guys can see a little bit better. I'll start on the outer edge. And draw a line initially. Like that. For the tail, which in my opinion is the trickiest part, it's actually a lot easier to do on other people because when you're doing it on yourself, you have to get like in these weird angles and things. But start from the outer part of your eye, like basically where the corner of your eyes on the bottom and the top meet. And just with a super light touch, go up towards the tail of the brow. Okay, so there's the line that I've made so far. Now, connect the two lines. But that's a good rough shape. I'm gonna do the other eye. Okay, so my other eye is finished. It's important to note that one of your eyes might be easier to do than the other because, first of all, both your eyes are probably different shaped. Mine definitely are. Alright, so the next step is smoking out the top lash line with a pencil brush. So grab something that you own that's kind of tapered and small. This again is a Sonia Kashuk brush. So you'll see it's very small and looks just like a pencil, kind of like the eraser of a pencil actually. And with that same palette, I'm going to take the color Magnet, which is down here. And we're going to use this first before we go into the black, but we will be using a black. Grab it, and on the outer corner of your eye, you're going to smoke that line. We're just creating a softer line. And then with an even smaller brush, so I'm going to take an angled brush that looks like this. Focus. There we go. And take Blackjack, which is the black color from this palette. And now on the very edge, so on the tail portion of the liner, use the black to go over and just stamp that line. Meanwhile, we've kept the inner corners, so you can see on top of the lid there, pretty light because we're using glitter. We are. Alright, for the face portion, I zoomed you back out so you can see everything in its totality. I'm going to be using one of my favorite foundations, which is the Make Up For Ever HD Stick Foundation. I am the color 117Y225. This is great for dry skin. It kind of looks like probably what your mom's old foundation would look like as far as its form, which is a stick, but it definitely performs better. So I like to make just a few marks kind of towards the center of my face. I don't like to put on too much of this initially, so I'll make like a half shape here, put some on the chin, up on the forehead, and I'm going to use a buffing brush first, and then start to work in the foundation. Oh, looks, I love foundation. Changes the game. Go down under the jawline. You never want to see yourself wearing a mask. Then I'll take a Real Techniques sponge and just press. And this kind of helps make sure that there's no brush lines. That's one negative of using a brush, as I feel like no matter how good of a job I do blending, I can always see brush strokes, and I never ever want that. So I make sure to press in with a sponge after. I'm going to do concealer before I decide if I want any more foundation on my face. So I'm going to be using the Benefit Eye Bright Boing number 2. So this is the shade number 2. And it has 2 tones in it. The bright tone, which is the pink. I like to put a little bit of that first in the inner corners of my eye here. Just brightens everything a little bit. And then I'll take the actual concealer color, which is the top color in the duo, and press that on like so. Anywhere else that you might need extra concealer, for me, I like to tap a little bit extra around my nose area. The bridge of my nose, for some reason, is always more red than everywhere else. And my chin. I'm going to use something for my brows that I absolutely love, which is the Goof Proof Brow Pencil by Benefit. It's in shade number 1, which is the lightest color. And I start up here at the arch of the brows. And let me just show you the difference between a blonde person like me having an eyebrow and not, because there's a huge difference. And some people don't like to fill in their brows, or they're scared to do it. But truthfully, makes a huge difference in the shape of your face and the shape of your eye. Okay, there's the difference between having a brow and not. It's pretty big. There are cheaper alternatives to this brow pencil as well, which you can find at the drugstore. One of my favorites is one that I just finished actually, and it's the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer Pencil. Really good, close to like an Anastasia Brow Wiz because it's very thin and can mimic hair strokes with it really easily. So I highly recommend that one if you're looking for one at the drugstore. And now I'm going to kind of finish up the eyes really quick. So I'm going to take the Marc Jacobs Highliner Gel Crayon in Blackuer. And we're going to tightline the eyes. So just lift up the skin here, and this is kind of scary if you've never done this. But you can see the difference it makes if you do tightline. So I have a lot of fullness now here at the lash line versus this one just looks a tiny bit more empty. It's a difference that's very minute, but it kind of just finishes your eye makeup. Okay, so I'm gonna powder under the eyes with the Nars Duo in Olympia. So it has a bronzer / contour shade. So just pick some of that light shade up. And I like to always set my under eye, even though I have dry skin. When I put mascara on under there, my lashes will touch my under eye and smudge everything, so we want to avoid that. I'm going to use a tapered blush brush for bronzer / contour. So I'm taking that Olympia color, the darker of the two now, and I'm going to start out here near just above my ear. Now everyone's face shape is different, but for me that's where I need to start contouring because that's where my cheekbone is. So I go under the cheekbone and I stop, so if I'm looking straight at you, you shouldn't be able to see my contour. Kind of shave down the forehead and sides of the face with a little bit of contour there as well. For blush today, I'm going to use MAC's Peony Petal. It is my fave. Really great for pale people. And I like to take it on my Sonia Kashuk blush brush, which is my fave, and just do it more towards the back of the cheekbone is where the heavier color I like to place is, so it makes your face look a little smaller. And I'll bring a little bit on the apples of my cheeks just because I think it looks youthful, and a little bit on my nose. Let's curl the lashes. I'm going to add mascara now, which I'm going to do Velvet Noir Major Volume Mascara by Marc Jacobs. So I'll take it like this and just start it on the base of the lash. Okay, once I finish the top mascara, I'm going to do the lower lash line really quickly. And for that, I'm going to go back to that Urban Decay Naked Basics palette and use a small tapered pencil brush like this from Sonia Kashuk. I'm going to take the color Magnet, which was that gray color right there, and go under the eye. And slightly connect to that wing out on the corner of your eye. I'm going to take out my little bobby pins here. Now, if this was any other day in 2017, this is like one of the looks that I would do. But since it's New Year's, I want to amp it up a little bit more and do a little bit of a lip with it and some glitter. So, for the glitter, this is Distortion Urban Decay glitter. Heavy metal glitter. It's really pretty. It's kind of just multicolored. What I'm going to do is take it on that little brush and just go above the lashes on that liner. And this will look really cool over black. Super fun. I'm going to take a little bit of it and go underneath to the lower lash line. And then for the final touch, the lip. So I'm going to be using the color Queen Bee by Too Faced. It's their, this way, Melted Matte color. We cannot forget the last step, highlighter. So for today, I'm using the Becca and Jaclyn Hill collab, and I'm going to be using the, you know, ever-loved Champagne Pop color right here. Going on the top of the cheekbone. Because it's the middle of the day right now, I'm not trying to put it everywhere, but I will later. The last spritz. Let it soak in. Alright, that is the finished look. This was my favorite thing to wear in 2017. We'll see what my favorite thing to wear in 2018 is.